What's up, guys? So I'm just out here in my yard doing a little barbecuing and enjoying my view. Before we get started on today's video, I wanted to invite you guys to like, comment, and subscribe, and stay tuned for lots more videos just like this. All right, here we go. What's up, guys? So you may have seen in a previous video, I got this Gourmia 6-quart air fryer at Costco, which I love. But the only thing is it's got this round food basket, so it really limits the food that you can put in it just because it's physically round. So I went ahead and picked up this 8-quart model at Walmart for a very similar price. And it's got a square food basket, so it's gonna have a lot more usable space, even though it's only 2 quarts larger than the Costco model. So let's open it up and see what the difference is. All right, so as you can see, I have them both out of the box now, and they are very similar size, but we'll get into that in a second. As far as the paperwork that comes with them, they're pretty much identical. They both have the same 30 recipe cookbook in the exact same order. Only really difference is the covers on them. Other than that, everything's the same. Just a quick thing, here's the dessert section. Raspberry cheesecake bars, there's some buttery garlic rolls. There's quite a bit of stuff in here. Some appetizers, breakfast, lunch, and dinner items. So decent little cookbook that you get with each one. I'll say the Walmart or the Costco version, which is this one, is much higher quality print. You can tell just the paper. This is glossy print, and this is just kind of looks like something that'd come in a newspaper or something, but it's Walmart versus Costco, so you know how that goes. And then as far as the instruction manuals, again, pretty much exact same thing, just a little different per model as far as the photos, but page for page, they're pretty much identical. Now, on to the air fryers themselves. So you can see here, they are very similar size. This Walmart 8-quart model is about a 1/3 inch taller, and I'd say about 1.5 inches wider, but very similar. Where the differences are gonna really be is these baskets. If you look at this one, it's round, and it comes with this second grate, which we'll get into in a second. But if you look at this Walmart one, look at that. Square, much more capacity. Again, this is rated as 8 quarts versus 6 quarts, but if you look at the difference in usable quart size, you'll see that this Walmart 8-quart one is a lot bigger than just the 2 quarts it is on paper. Look at that. If you look at them side by side this way, you'll see they are about the same height. The Walmart one is slightly deeper, but the actual usable area is much, much larger on the Walmart 8-quart model. Even though this one is physically smaller, it's got this little grate here that you can think of as like a barbecue or something that you add it to the top, and it essentially doubles the amount of usable cooking space. Again, there's only certain items you could put here, maybe some chicken wings or some potato wedges or something you could layer a little. It's not the end all be all, but it's a nice little feature to have that this Walmart model just didn't include. One other thing that's worth noting is this Costco air fryer is all plastic on the end here. It's feels like it's high quality plastic, but it's plastic nonetheless. This one here, it's got a little bit of metal, so take it for what you will, but I would trust my money with this metal here versus this plastic, even though they'll probably both hold up about the same. Let's get into the menus. That's the sound of the Walmart one, and here is the Costco one. They both have a nice firm click once you slide that basket in, so they're pretty comparable in that regards. All right, so let's check out the displays and usability of each model. So pressing the button on this Costco Gourmia air fryer, you're greeted with all the presets, the on button here, a nice bold bright display. You can toggle between time and then temperature there, and then change each one as need be. So once you press the button on the Walmart Gourmia air fryer, you'll notice the display is not as bright, but it's still decent. One thing you will note is the readout here, whereas this one is much larger and brighter, and it just shows the time and then rotates towards the temperature. This one, if you press both, can actually show the time here and then the temperature you're cooking at here. It's kind of a pick your poison. This is a much brighter, kind of a more vivid display, but it shows less information at once. Whereas this one is not as bright and a little harder to read, but you have the time of the cook and the temperature you're cooking at displayed at the same time without having to wait for the scroll. Personally, I'd rather have this kind of a simpler one just because it's just less clutter, but they had more room to work with here, so I don't fault them for that. What I do fault them for is using kind of a dimmer display. Just looking at it here, you can tell, even with all these lights on and everything, this is a lot more pleasant on the eyes, but it is what it is. It's Costco versus Walmart again, and kind of know what to expect with that. As far as the shortcuts, they all pretty much have the same thing. If you look up here, that's got your air fry button. Then right here, it has it as well. And then French fries here, French fries there, poultry here, bacon there. They're all pretty much the same. The bottom here, you have the option to preheat or not preheat, and then stop, cancel, start, and then the turn reminder. The turn reminder is a neat little feature because basically if you set it for 20 minutes, 10 minutes into the cook, it will just have an audible beep reminding you to basically rotate the food, kind of give it a little shake, flip it over, that way everything cooks a little more evenly. Because even though these are air fryers, that wind or that air is circulating around the food, physically moving them around helps a lot, just like with everything else. One thing I do want to note about these is the preheat feature. It is kind of neat. So basically, if you press preheat there and then turn on, say, air fryer, it's going to turn itself on. And if you notice, it's pretty quiet. And what that is doing is basically preheating the oven without actually running the fan as much as it normally would. So what this is going to do is get it up to temp a lot faster than it would versus the fan being on full speed. So let's go ahead and shut this down. So you can hear the beep there. Let's turn that off. Let's listen to the beep on this one. Wow, one more time. On here. So you can tell this one's got a lot louder speaker, which is good if you're, on the other side of the room or side of the house, whatever. It's gonna be a lot easier to hear that. Let's go ahead and listen to what this sounds like on the preheat feature, set to air fry, and the start. Volume-wise, at least while they're cooking on the air fry feature, they are about the same. Now you got to remember that this is a brand new unit that I haven't cooked anything with yet. So with that being said, you do want to run it for about 15 to 20 minutes at full blast when you first get it, just to kind of burn all the oils and everything that might be left there from the factory, as well as wash them, obviously. Now, it comes down to decide which is better, the $49 Walmart unit or the $49-ish Costco unit. I will have to say, even though this seems like a better built unit and it's got the Costco return policy and all that fun stuff, I'd go with this Walmart 8-quart unit simply because of the size of the cooking basket. Again, it all boils down to what you can physically fit in these things. They're small either way, and that versus that, I mean, it's kind of hard to argue. So that alone, I'd pick this guy over this guy. Again, they're going to be very similar units power-wise and more than likely longevity-wise, but physically being able to fit that much more food in the basket at once is a huge perk in my book. All right, so that's gonna do it for this one. Until next time, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and stay tuned for lots more videos just like this. Peace.